Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. The US rental market is undergoing one of the most dramatic shifts in recent history. After nearly a decade of steady increases, rents across much of the country are now moving in the opposite direction. What was once a story of relentless growth has turned into a period of correction and recalibration. Across major cities, tenants are gaining leverage. Landlords are adjusting expectations, and investors are watching closely to see where the real opportunities lie. For nearly a decade, from around 2013 up through 2022, rents across the country climbed relentlessly. Low interest rates, limited construction, and post-pandemic migration patterns fueled an almost unstoppable surge. Tenants were competing for limited units. Landlords were seeing record profits, and investors were diving into multifamily properties as if they were the safest bet on the board. But 2025 is painting a very different picture. Across much of the US, rents aren't just flattening, they're falling, and in some markets, the declines are steep. According to the latest data from Realtor.com and Apartment List, the national median rent for a one-bedroom is sitting around $1,713, which is about 2.2% lower than the same time last year. That might not sound like much, but remember, for nearly a decade, rents only moved upward. A reversal like this signals a deeper structural change in supply, demand, and affordability. So today, let's break down the top 10 US cities where rent is collapsing, from number 10 to number 1, and I'll walk you through what's really happening behind the numbers, what this means for investors, and where the smart opportunities might lie going forward. Coming in at number 10, we have Minneapolis-St. Paul, Minnesota, a market that's long been known for its stability. The Twin Cities never really experienced the extremes of a boom or bust cycle, which is why investors liked it. But recently, rents here have fallen about 6% year over year, largely due to a perfect storm of factors. Local rent control laws introduced in 2022, rising operating costs, and a cooling job market. Developers who were once confident about consistent returns are now hesitating to start new projects. Vacancy rates have crept higher, and tenants have more negotiating power. For investors, this is a market that rewards patience and operational excellence rather than aggressive expansion. If you're holding property here, focus on tenant retention, long-term leases, and well-maintained Class B or C properties that serve the working population. At number 9, we head down south to Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta has been one of the stars of the Sun Belt boom. From 2020 to 2022, thousands of people moved in. Remote workers, new graduates, and corporate relocations from high-cost states. The result was a rent surge of nearly 25% in just 2 years. But all that construction to meet demand has now caught up. Today, Atlanta is facing a mild oversupply, with rents down about 3% year over year and vacancies on the rise, especially in new Class A apartments. Combine that with rising property taxes and insurance premiums, and suddenly cash flow margins are tighter than ever. Yet Atlanta still has one of the fastest-growing metro populations in the Southeast, strong logistics infrastructure, and a diversified job base. This isn't a dying market, it's a maturing one. Smart investors here are looking for small multifamily or single-family homes in the path of growth, where tenant demand is still steady, but competition isn't overwhelming. Next, at number 8, we stop at Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte is another Sunbelt city that rode the pandemic migration wave. Rents here shot up nearly 30% between 2020 and 2022, but that level of growth simply wasn't sustainable. Now, with a cooling housing market and a surge of new apartment completions, Charlotte's rents have dropped roughly 3.5%. Downtown vacancy rates are high, and property managers are offering 1 to 2 months free just to fill units. But beneath the surface, Charlotte remains one of the strongest job markets in the South, with banking, tech, and energy sectors still expanding. As an investor, this is a market where you can start finding discounted deals, particularly from over-leveraged owners who bought during the peak. If you're in it for the long haul, Charlotte could be one of the best rebound plays over the next 3 to 5 years, once new inventory gets absorbed. Moving to number 7, let's talk about Tampa, Florida. Tampa's rise during the pandemic was meteoric. Rents jumped over 35% in just 2 years as new residents flooded in from the Northeast. But fast forward to now, and the market's correcting sharply. Rents have fallen about 4% year over year as thousands of new apartments come online. The sunshine and no income tax appeal remain, but tenants are reaching their affordability limits. For investors, Tampa is shifting from a growth market to an efficiency market, meaning the focus now is on operational improvements, reducing turnover, and improving property quality to stand out. The long-term fundamentals are still strong. Population growth, tourism, and infrastructure expansion continue. But those who bought at inflated prices expecting endless rent hikes are learning the hard way that even Florida markets can cool. At number 6, we have Riverside, San Bernardino, California, often called the Inland Empire. This area boomed when remote work became widespread. People left Los Angeles for more space and cheaper rents. But now, with return-to-office policies gaining traction and California's economic challenges mounting, that migration has reversed. Rents in the Inland Empire are down about 6%, and the vacancy rate is climbing. For investors, the challenge here isn't just falling rent, it's also rising costs. Insurance, maintenance, and property taxes have surged, while rent control limits flexibility. The best move in this region now is strategic repositioning, converting underperforming units, focusing on workforce housing, or leveraging 1031 exchanges to diversify into more landlord-friendly states. Coming in at number 5 is Las Vegas, Nevada. Vegas has always been a boom-bust city, and right now it's in the middle of a rental bust. During the pandemic, when people were fleeing expensive coastal metros, Las Vegas rents jumped over 40%, one of the steepest increases in the nation. But with new construction and slower job growth in hospitality, the market is cooling fast. Rents are down roughly 5 to 6%, and incentives like free rent and waive deposits are common. Still, this city always reinvents itself. Between new sports franchises, the Formula One buzz, and an expanding tech presence, long-term prospects remain interesting. For investors, this is a moment for cautious optimism. Buy below market value, hold through volatility, and prioritize properties with stable, long-term tenants rather than speculative Airbnb plays. At number 4 sits Phoenix, Arizona, another major Sunbelt player that's facing the downside of overbuilding. Phoenix experienced a construction boom to meet the demand from pandemic-era migration, but now it's oversupplied. Rents have fallen about 6%, with some submarkets seeing steeper drops. The demand is still there. Phoenix continues to attract new residents, but it can't keep pace with the massive number of new luxury units hitting the market. The result is an affordability mismatch. Too many high-end apartments, not enough middle-income options. For investors, that creates opportunity in Class B and C multifamily, where steady cash flow is more reliable. If you've got patience, Phoenix's fundamentals, population growth, business relocation, and warm climate will eventually rebalance the market. Now at number 3, we move to Denver, Colorado. Denver's rental market has taken one of the steepest dives in the country, with rents down 7% in the past year. The mile-high city remains attractive for lifestyle and jobs, but affordability is the issue. Tenants are stretched thin, and with so many new high-end apartments competing for renters, landlords have lost pricing power. For investors, Denver is all about timing. Over-leveraged owners who finance deals at 2021's high prices are starting to sell under pressure, which means opportunities are emerging. If you're ready with capital, it's not a collapse in fundamentals, it's a recalibration. Those who enter now with long-term discipline may find some of the best deals of the next cycle. At number 2 is Austin, Texas, the poster child for the rent correction story. During the tech migration boom, Austin was the hottest rental market in the country. From Tesla's Gigafactory to Apple's campus expansion, tech workers flooded in, rents soared, and developers rushed to build. But when too much supply meets slowing demand, the result is a sharp correction. Rents in Austin are now down roughly 9% year over year, the steepest drop in Texas. The market is flooded with luxury apartments, and tenants have endless choices. For investors, this is a test of patience. If you can buy now at a deep discount and hold through the next few years, Austin will reward you long-term. It remains one of the best tech and innovation hubs in the country. It's just digesting the excess supply. Finally, at number 1, leading the nation in rent declines, is Boise, Idaho. During the pandemic, Boise became a national sensation, a small city that suddenly felt like the promised land for remote workers. Californians and Washingtonians rushed in, driving rents up nearly 50% in just 2 years. But now, as migration patterns normalize, Boise has seen the sharpest reversal of all. Rents are down 10 to 12%, depending on the neighborhood. Developers built aggressively, expecting the population boom to continue indefinitely, and now there's simply more supply than demand. For investors, Boise's situation is both a warning and an opportunity. If you can buy under value and manage expenses tightly, this market could present significant upside in a few years. But for now, cash flow is king. Don't expect appreciation to do the heavy lifting. So what do all these cities have in common? They're a reflection of a broader national trend, the end of easy rent growth. For years, investors could rely on the market to push rents upward, often faster than inflation. But the combination of new construction, affordability challenges, and demographic shifts has changed that dynamic. The good news? This is not a collapse. It's a correction. It's the market rebalancing after years of overexuberance. For disciplined investors, this is actually the best environment to buy. Sellers are becoming realistic, cap rates are expanding, and opportunities are emerging for those who understand fundamentals. As an investor, I see this moment as a transition from speculation to strategy, from chasing appreciation to building sustainable cash flow. The markets with falling rents today will likely be tomorrow's comeback stories. It's all about staying patient, buying smart, and managing efficiently. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the top 10 U.S. cities where rents are collapsing, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe for more real estate insights, and let me know in the comments, are rents dropping in your city? Have you noticed landlords offering incentives or cutting prices? Your on-the-ground perspective helps all of us understand this evolving market. Thanks for watching. Stay smart, stay patient, and I'll see you in the next one.